So this video might be a bit different than the other ones that I make, but I still think it's Neville related. Because if you study Neville's work, you know that he is about this idea of creation, and you can think of imagination as a thing and a power, and it has this ability to internally create within ourselves. Now, if you contrast our time with Neville's time, ours is clearly different. It's been sort of inflated, if you will. It's not that there wasn't media in Neville's time. It's just that the media nowadays is far more extreme, and it's very much a part of our lives now. And this is going to be a challenge for us, because unlike Neville's time, his type of media was newspapers. And newspapers do not have the visual component most of the time. It's just a text. And there's elements to reading that is not required of you in visual consumption of media. Because what's happening is, and this is coming from me when I took a month off from not necessarily posting, but just mindlessly scrolling on my phone. I took a month off and I felt very different. And then I came back to see how I would feel if I came back and started to scroll again. And I just noticed a few things. I noticed my doubts came up, like doubts that I didn't have before started to arise. Like self-doubt in the sense of questioning myself that weren't there before. And I started, not just anxiety, but it wasn't that. It was more that I started noticing that my imagination almost felt like it was hard, like it wasn't malleable anymore. I wasn't able to create as easily anymore. And my reasons for this is just from my experience. Obviously, depending on the feed you have, things are going to be different for you. But when I'm more just talking about the actual framework and the, just the foundation of what's happening just from consuming media. Because the media that we're consuming, they're images that are already finished. They're finished visuals. So you don't necessarily have to create anymore inside your imagination. You just sort of scroll and you're given either like an argument or somebody's fighting or something is being done on the screen. And the screen's image is complete. And then you do it again and again and again. And what's happening is your imagination now becomes a consumer rather than a creator within yourself. And remember, imagination is the ability to create within ourselves. And when it's just consuming and not creating, it almost feels like it's pointless. Like the imagination becomes, there's like almost no life in it anymore. It just feels like your inner world becomes dark and pointless. But things that you could do to sort of, there's a couple things you can do to solve this issue. And because the point is to create inside ourselves. The point is to use our imagination. So let's say you see a completed visual, like a video on your phone. Revise it. Do something with what you just watched internally. Unlike reading, where you kind of had to create something within yourself while you're reading, you had to piece it together. Visual is a bit different because it's completed already for you. And so try to revise things when you hear them or when you see them on your phone, to just practice creating within yourself. And another thing you can do is to have an intention. Try to correct the intention. Try to create for the sole purpose of creating. No other reason. Don't do it to try to change things all the time. Just try to focus on creating things within you. Start to gather the ability to start producing and creating within yourself. Create an idea. Feel after the idea. Start to do and take action within yourself, and your inner world will become more important, and it will take upon more tones of reality. It will start to feel more real to you, start to become alive again, and you can start to become self-inspired rather than sort of waiting for some image to appear to, create for you in a sense. And that's really what's happening. Is what I'm noticing is that the media we have now creates for us, and we no longer create within ourselves, because what's happening is our awareness, which should be inward, is being externalized. And it's externalizing our awareness onto the phone, and the phone has given us completed images to our awareness. And then once we come back to ourselves, we've been shaped by it without really realizing it. We've been shaped to a degree. Something on our phone, whether maybe it's not everything, but something will be persuasive enough to persuade you to think a certain way, to dream a certain way, we can say. And we really are living in a world of assumptions. And so when you're on your phone, you're really getting suggestions. You're getting assumptions, dreams given to you, sort of without really saying it, telling you. And it's more of a demand in a sense. It's more of like an intrusion. It's almost like intruding upon you to dream this way. And if it can't get you through the intrusion, it'll get you through the persuasion. It'll persuade you to dream this way. And it may be not something that you want to dream yourself. It might not be what you actually wanted, but you're just told to do it. And if we know anything about human nature and just the observation of it, is that people will bow to statues because you tell them to. People will bow to gods they don't even know because they were told to. And so it's very important to be sort of not vigilant, but just aware of this fact that you don't want to make your imagination become just a consumer, just constantly consuming media. It needs to start creating again. And you'll find so much freedom when you realize creation should be done just for creation's sake, just because you can. Something you can do. And then that will allow you not only to get motivated, but it will also allow you to stay disciplined because the intention's always the same and the goal is always the same, which is to create. Rather than like, there's almost this, something I don't really like in regards to Neville's work. And it's not a knock on Neville or anything. It's more on the interpretation of Neville's work, which is this like, and I understand the sentiment why you need to change your, the outer world. We call it the outer world or Caesar's world, whatever you want to call it. But really, we need to focus on changing our inner worlds. And if there's no one to change but self, any other focus is pointless, right? Like it shouldn't matter as much. If there's nothing and no one to change but self, and I'm just simply consuming and not creating, then I'm not really changing myself. And if there's nothing else to change, then I really shouldn't focus really on much else, right? Let's just take the premise as it being true. No one to change but self. Then any other focus is less than self, at that point. And so I need to start imagining, and if imagining creates reality and no one to change but self, if you combine those two and feeling is a secret, then I change myself through feeling. And if I want to create a different world for myself, I must create a different self for myself. I must create myself to be different. But we can't create if we're constantly consuming. This is just something I noticed just from my own kind of experiment. I just tried to experiment with myself. Like, let me take a month off, not watch anything, and not scroll at all. And by the second week, I felt pretty good. And then when I came back to it, because you have to see how it's going to be when you come back. Yeah, I just noticed my imagination felt a bit limited out of nowhere. And it wasn't anything I was doing. It was just mindless consumption. It's really just the imagination it atrophied because I stopped creating with it. And yeah, that's what I've just noticed, that if we don't start dreaming for our own selves, dreams will be put in us. We're dreamers, right? The same way we eat food, like we have to eat food, we have to dream. What we dream about is subject to change, either through ourselves or through persuasion. And outer persuasion, externalization of ideas can persuade us without really realizing it. And then we're on a certain track. We're on a certain we start expressing this without really knowing that we're expressing it. And then life turns a certain way. And we wonder why this happened. We wonder where this came from. How did this appear? It's sort of like we forget. It's like we are gardeners, and we when we see something sprouting in our garden that we don't want, we forget that we planted it, with our memory. And think about it. If you spend a whole day scrolling, and I asked you, which ones do you remember? It's very hard to remember them, right? Like, wouldn't you agree? I don't think I'm alone in that. It's very hard to remember what you just watched. And so that tells me that the state of mind I'm in is almost like a hypnosis. Like I'm just sort of being receptive to it. I'm not really creating or thinking twice about what I just watched. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm merely consuming it, which I don't think is good, because I think the imagination is the ability not just to consume, but to create. It must start creating. And that's what I was saying, that a thing you can do is revise what you just watched, regardless if you think it's going to happen or not. Don't think about creation. Think about just creating. You hear something, change it if you want to change it. Start to create on the inside rather than passively consuming on the inside. Don't let your inner world go dark just because it's easy. It's important. This is really important, because we're supposed to be dreaming what we want, not what we're told to. Yeah, I know this was a bit different. I mean, I don't really have, I guess I could go on, but I don't really have much else to say right now. I probably might talk about this. I'm going to talk about this probably again in the future, but I was just wanted to give a little brief talk on this little experiment I did with myself. But yeah, I probably will bring this up in the future. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say other than thank you guys for the support on the book. I do hope you guys are enjoying it, and I hope it frees you. I really do. I hope it frees you more than when you first started reading it. If you're interested in that, it's in the description as well. I'm going live tomorrow for the members later in the night. I'm going to have a drink, and I might talk about this. So if you're interested, just go to the description too there. But yeah, I'm curious on your guys' thoughts on this idea. Maybe more, not really just ideas, but I want to hear your experience on this as well. But okay, you guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.